It is Monday, September 1st, 2025, Labor Day for those who have the day off. Enjoy it. Be safe. First off, let's kick this off the right way. But we've got football to talk about. There were some games last night. North Carolina TCU's tonight. We're going to preview that. South Carolina and Virginia Tech played yesterday afternoon. A fun game, honestly. A lot better than a lot of people, I think, expected. And then we also had, of course, Notre Dame and Miami playing in Miami Gardens down there at Hard Rock Stadium. Plenty to cover from both of these games. Plenty of storylines coming out of it. We also got some news today to talk as well. So we got plenty here. And I just ask that you like and subscribe. I mean, if you're new around here and you haven't done it already, 90% of you haven't, and that's okay. Look, I get it. I get it. But please subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. We're on the road to 200 subscribers. We're getting close. We're 186. I certainly think we can get there. We're going to kick today's show off, unfortunately, with some troubling news out of Tallahassee, Florida. It came out early this morning. I waited until I had official word on everything going on, and it's um, the word is Florida State freshman linebacker Ethan Pritchard was shot last night in Havana, Florida. He remains in critical but stable condition. It needs to be very clear that he is stable as of this time, as of me recording this video. It's truly unfortunate. Florida State. There's a lot of lessons here, and none of them are against him. As a matter of fact, I want to say before we get into this that my well wishes are with the kid, Ethan Pritchard. Look, it's terrible. It happens everywhere. It happens every day. Senseless shootings, senseless stabbings, working in the line of field or in the line of work that I do, like you see it all the time. And it's unfortunate. I wish I knew why, but unfortunately, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not really qualified to talk about why because I don't know. It's just unfortunate, truly. And all I can say is that my thoughts are with their family, the family of Ethan Pritchard. My thoughts are with him for a speedy recovery. Hopefully, this is something simple to bounce back from. We don't have a lot of details yet, as investigations are still ongoing. Um, but so again, some troubling news. It just goes kind of to show that you can go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, just like that. And obviously, Florida State community is behind this kid, as should the whole college football world be behind this kid. Really, really wanting to have some good news and some better news on this down the road. We're going to continue to follow this and update as we learn more, as more is given throughout the time. But wanted to report it. As unfortunate as it's a sad reality of the world we have, and just again hopeful for again a quick, speedy recovery as fast as you can have from something like this, and it's just unfortunate. We're gonna stay in Tallahassee for just a moment. Running back Roydell Williams announced he's going to miss a undisclosed. Sorry, he's going to miss a period of time. They didn't really say how long, but it's due to an undisclosed injury he suffered in the game against Alabama. Roydell Williams had 6 carries for 14 yards the other day. Didn't really add a lot. He wasn't great, but there were some moments. There were a couple decent runs in there. But a lot of it really came through Tommy Castellanos, Makai Danzy, even Gavin Sawchuk, 4.7 yards per carry. He had 6 carries for 28 yards. I don't think this is going to be an overall hindrance to the Florida State offense. I think it would be nice to have Roydell Williams and Gavin Sawchuk healthy. Hopefully, he comes back soon. But he's going to miss a period of time. Again, that doesn't really. They haven't really said how long they expect it to be. They haven't even disclosed the injury, so it's hard for me to gauge kind of an idea. But again, just wishing for speedy recovery for Roydell Williams, but as for their team, I would say next man up. Gavin Sawchuk's a really solid player and a guy that I think they're gonna really love down there when they give him the chance to kind of take the reins of the position. So we'll see what happens on that one. We'll move on to some good news. Close this out with a little bit of positivity. Um, Army safety Larry Pickett Jr. and his dad were on video um, pulling a man from a burning vehicle the other day. The car had clearly struck a power line, had a tree and a power line fallen kind of around it. Ultimately, those ignited and caught fire. But quick action from the Army safety, and as you're supposed to have in the military. Um, that call to action, that call to do something, that call to make the difference in a situation like that, and not think. Um, it's awesome, commendable. Um, it's awesome, and it looks like Army as a whole, the West Point, the academy, has even recognized such actions. So look, these guys go to the West Point. They go to Annapolis. Some even go to VMI or the Citadel, um, and they end up becoming officers within the armed services, whether that's Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard. They all become officers, or that's their intent, is to become an officer. And look, if that's the kind of leadership you're getting, if that's the kind of guy you're getting, it's awesome out in the field. It's awesome out in your units. As somebody who's been there, um, look, you gotta lay it all out there sometimes. And again, really proud of the intestinal fortitude to go out and do that. There's a lot of people that would sit there and say, you know what, not my problem. But to take action, make something happen, and make a difference in somebody's life, and the biggest difference in life or death. Commendable. It's beyond commendable. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Um, you love to see it. So here we end with some positive news here going forward on this Monday morning. We move on, and let's talk a little bit about some Sunday results. We had a couple games yesterday, two or three top 25 teams in action, two top 10 teams facing off against each other. We'll save that one for last. But let's talk about this game that happened in Atlanta yesterday. South Carolina, Virginia Tech down there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and this was there's a lot you can walk away from this talking about. We can certainly talk about Lenore Sellers and how he played, which was, I thought, really well. Um, we can talk about Nick Harbor and how he definitely looks the part of the wide receiver who took all off season and the wide receiver we expected him to be. Brady Hunt kind of took over the spot as the number one tight end. Love that. He's waited his turn. We even see a little bit of Russell Faison, Oscar Attaway. This team ran the ball okay, 3.7 yards per carry. The offensive line struggled a little bit for South Carolina, and I think they got time to work on it, but they just struggled. I think they had a hard time against some of the pressures and stunts and gap fits that Virginia Tech tried to run. Um, all in all, a really really solid game from the Carolina offense. I thought that they figured it out. I thought Virginia Tech's defense played really well. I don't want to take away credit from the South Carolina offensive line not being great. However, the the Virginia Tech defense played much better than I expected. They were fast, flying around with the football, getting to the football, and I think a lot of that has to do with the leadership, specifically at that linebacker position. They love what Caleb Woodson brings, and we talked about it before going into this game when we talked about Virginia Tech, even when we previewed them, that they really like what Caleb Woodson brings to this team. This game, all in all, came down to a couple of things. Turnovers. Kyron Jones had two interceptions on the day, one of which was an interception going down in the red zone. Could have been an extra field goal on the board. Um, but not only that, it just felt like South Carolina's defense stepped up when it needed to most. They bend, don't break, make a lot of plays. I was pretty impressed with a couple of guys here. Fred Johnson, linebacker, we knew was going to play. He was, I thought, really good. He was all around the field, 10 tackles, six of them solo, and a pass breakup on the day. But he also had an interception as well. He had the interception in the red zone. that ended a very good possession that was led by Kyron Drones early in that game. Dylan Stewart looked really good. Game wrecker mentality going forward. Um, but what I will say is we're going to talk about Dylan Stewart a lot. You go to the other side of that defensive line, Brian Thomas Jr. was just as good. He impressed me a lot, honestly. I was curious, how are they going to replace a guy like Kyle Kennard? Well, you're not going to have another Kyle Kennard. I don't think that's going to happen. But what they did was Dylan Stewart became the guy with the attention, and Brian Thomas said, "You know what? I'm here too, and I'm going to create problems for you instead." They were both awesome getting into the backfield. I was pretty impressed with that. Brandon Cisse looked really good. The transfer corner looked pretty good, especially in the later portion of that game. They end up missing Judge Collier, and I think that was a big deal in this game. We saw a lot of deep passes be either completed or garner penalties for defensive pass interference against the Gamecocks. Virginia Tech's downfield passing game was good. Donovan Green and Aiden Green were clearly the two guys they were excited the most about and looking to get the ball to, and they did just that. They had Donovan Green 3 catches for 94 yards, Aiden Green 5 for 71 yards. They both had really good games, and again were threats in the deep passing game. I think they were missing again Judge Collier a little bit throughout the course of this game. But I think that's another easy thing to fix. Like if we're talking deep passing game, deep passing coverage just being a little bit off, and then we're talking offensive line being just a little bit off, and those are really the only two glaring problems for South Carolina. They're a really good team. Do I think they're SEC championship good? No, because I what I saw this weekend tells me a couple of things. And again, it's week one always garners the most overreaction, but what I saw tells me a couple of things. LSU is really good. I buy the notion LSU being really good. I would buy them to make a trip to Atlanta. Texas, I think, is still going to be good. Give Arch Manning a couple starts, they really get comfortable, and I think they'll be okay. Better play calling might help, but they'll be okay. Georgia is going to be good. That's a foregone conclusion yearly that Georgia's going to be good. But South Carolina just might be the most sneaky team in this conference, and they get LSU, they get an Oklahoma, they get Alabama, who who knows? There's a workable schedule here for Carolina to make their run too, if they really wanted to, if they have that true talent to do it. But all in all, this was an impressive game, and I gotta say, I truly believe this. What I'm about to tell you is that nobody made a huge impression in the Heisman race this weekend. I don't buy that one bit. You can't get me to believe it. But I think that Lenore Sellers might have made the biggest one, and it doesn't look that way on the stat sheet. But where he was making his plays, where he was creating with his legs, where he was really pretty solid through the air, was just smart with the football. The little things added up in this game to the point where I would be comfortable saying that Lenore Sellers might be a Heisman front runner right now. I'm not saying he is because it's week one. Why would we go and put a foregone conclusion on it? But I think if anybody impressed me the most, it was Lenore Sellers. Really love Garrett Nussmeier. Thought he did a great job too. But I just think that Sellers, his ability to create both in the air, on the ground, and do it in a timely fashion, do it in a time of need for this Carolina team, is what's going to make him probably the most valuable player in college football. It's a really really big win for South Carolina, a really big win for Shane Beamer. That's his alma mater. That's where his dad coached and became a legend. That's where the term Beamer ball was I mean, kind of was born, was right there. On top of that, Beamer ball was in full effect yesterday as well. We saw Bakari Swain with a punt return touchdown yesterday, an 80-yard punt return touchdown. That is that's Beamer ball at its best, especially after they asked for a re-kick on a punt, and that's the play you get. That's the result you get. It was certainly impressive. Certainly a big win in a lot of regards, and they have to move on now because it's not over. They get South Carolina State next week, but then they play Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt look good still. So I'm sure they're not going anywhere. They look like the same team from last year, but there's still a lot of things to prove. This is a long year, and you can't get hung up on just one game. Moving on to last night's action, Miami, Florida. Sorry, Miami and Notre Dame. I don't need to say Miami, Florida. We all know, but that's where the game was played. Um, Miami survives a strong comeback, and I mean a strong comeback effort, and it was not led in the way I thought it was. They shut down Jeremiah Love. They shut down Jadarian Price, and rather they said, you know what? If you're going to beat us, the freshman quarterback's going to beat us. And he almost did. He almost did what you would have thought he would do. CJ Carr, 19 of 30 for 221, 2 touchdowns and a pick, and again, 17 points in the fourth quarter, bringing this thing back from what was a 21-7 game at one point. And man, it was just generally impressive to get back into this game. At one point, it was 21-7. You got a CJ Carr touchdown pass to make it 21-14. Miami answers with a field goal. Notre Dame has a field goal there, and it's 24-17. And then CJ Carr, a 7-yard touchdown run on 3 plays, 75 yards. Took a minute 14 off the clock, but they walked down the field. And then with just over 2 minutes to go, a Miami field goal. Just over 1 minute to go, a Miami field goal to win 27-24. Super impressed with both sides of this. Carson Beck looked really good. Certainly looked healthy, which is, I think that's a really big deal for this team. 20 of 31, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. We saw Mark Fletcher look good. Shamar Brown got a lot of carries, 15 for 54 yards and a touchdown himself. Malachi Toney stepped up big. We were kind of wondering, who are the wide receivers going to be here? Who are the wide receivers that are going to get a lot of looks? Malachi Toney stepped up. 6 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. CJ Daniels has the play of the year already, at least. Excuse me. At least people would say it's the play of the year already, and it's great. One-handed catch, touchdown grab to top it off. Certainly in the conversation for play of the year in week 1. But CJ Daniels looked good too. This Miami receiver room looked a lot better than I think people expected them to be. You look at the defense, I think they played really well as well, all things considered. Sometimes a player comes in and just kind of takes care of business. CJ Carr was the best new starter this weekend out of the big matchups that we watched. I think he was better than Arch Manning. I think he was better than Julian Sand. He looked every bit of the part of what could be a national championship winning quarterback. I mean, this Notre Dame team, especially if they can figure out their run game, I don't know what was going on last night. I think maybe Miami keyed on a little bit. I need to see a little more of this game. I watched a good amount, but didn't get to see as much as I would like, but I still have to put a show out today. Gonna take a second look and maybe do a little more talking about this game tomorrow. But impressed with the Miami defense holding Notre Dame below 100 yards rushing. If you'd have told me that prior to the game, I'd have said Miami won, but I'd have said Miami won by a lot more because I did not think CJ Carr would do what he did. Just a generally impressive game on both fronts. And when we talked about LSU Clemson being a heavyweight fight, a playoff fight, that's a playoff fight that we just saw there too. I think these two teams are both really solid, and we're probably going to see them both in the playoffs at some point down the line. So moving on to tonight, TCU, North Carolina. What a game we've got. Bill Belichick's debut as a head coach down there in Chapel Hill, over there, I should say. It's pretty much east of me. Over there in Chapel Hill. TCU, Josh Hoover looks to start a campaign for himself, maybe to be maybe not a Heisman, but a guy that people kind of open their eyes to, realize that he is as good as advertised, as good as I've at least advertised. Um, I think this is going to be a really fun game. TCU's kind of trying to figure out their wide receiver room. They lose a little bit from last year, but I think they're going to be fine. I think Eric McAllister is a guy that you got to watch out for in that receiver room. As for North Carolina, I think it's going to be interesting to watch Gio Lopez and how he operates in this offense. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if they're going to spread it out. I don't know if they're going to play more pro style. We'll see. I think the spread out attack would certainly fit Gio Lopez style, but maybe I'm wrong. Certainly happened before. Who might have tell a 6-time Super Bowl champion, what to do with his quarterback? Um, we'll see what it looks like. I'm sure the defense is going to be good. Steve Belichick, of course, takes over that role. It's going to be a really interesting game. I got a lot of high hopes for it, but I'm taking TCU to win 28-21 over there. I think there's a lot on the line here for both sides. TCU is really looking to not lose. Look, they lost the last time a flashy head coach hire was their opening game, and that was Coach Prime and his debut. They are looking to answer that with certainty and walk into this one and say, you know what, we're going to take control. We're going to win this game. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun game tonight. I'm excited. Let me know what you guys are picking. Let me know what you guys thought of last night's games. Let me know what you guys thought of week one. Like, give me some overreactions, maybe just some overall reactions of week one. We're going to talk a little more about that tomorrow, along with the preview of Oklahoma and Michigan tomorrow as well. That's our game of the week here. And really excited to carry forward. 1 week is down. We've still got plenty to go. So make sure, again, you like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts on everything we talk about today. And certainly subscribe. Again, we're trying to hit 200. We're on the path to it. Let's try to get there. Just appreciate you guys. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And stay safe tonight. Labor Day, of course. It's a fun holiday, but stay safe. Enjoy your final cookout, your last hurrah for summer responsibly. And we'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode of Armchair Analysis.